So we got another fight with my boy Keyshawn Davis, the businessman. This fight will be with Jose, the sniper Pedraza. This fight is, I presume, it should be at 135 pounds. So it looks like they'll probably be pulling Jose Pedraza down in weight to take this fight because Pedraza has been campaigning at 140 for a little bit now. All right, so I'm assuming that this fight is gonna be at 135. Okay, so let's talk about it, man. Let's get into the predictions and everything. So, tail of the tape, we got Keyshawn Davis, 9 wins, 0 losses, no draws. And 6 of those wins are coming by way of knockout. All right, so Keyshawn Davis has a 66% knockout ratio. Pretty decent punching power. Good puncher. Stands at 5'9" with a 70-inch arm reach. He's 24 years old, so he's young. He's a young, hungry lion. All right, so we got Jose Pedraza, 29 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 14 wins by knockout, and 1 knockout coming by the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis. Pedraza is 34 years old, stands at 5'8" with a 70.5-inch arm reach. Okay, so these dudes, Pedraza has a slightly longer reach, but he's shorter by an inch. Keyshawn has the height advantage over Jose Pedraza. Pedraza has a 48% knockout ratio. He's not really known for his punching power, but he's more of a slick fighter. He's a good mid-range, come forward fighter. That's what I classify Jose Pedraza as. Tough dude. He's a vet. Always come to fight. You know when you get a fight with Jose Pedraza, you know it's gonna be a fight because he comes to fight every time. All right, so very good footwork, decent head movement. Like I said, not a big puncher like that, but he has good overhead rights. I like his overheads. Keyshawn Davis, explosive, really good puncher. Sometimes it looks like he's a little sluggish in there. I think Pedraza might have the speed over him still, even at this age. We talking 10-year difference in age between these two dudes. Keyshawn Davis, last fight, he got cracked pretty good by Naheed Albright. He took the shot, got buzzed a little bit, but he took the shot and ended up, was it a no contest? I don't know what happened. Yeah, something happened because Keyshawn, they said that he tested positive for some shit. So I think it was weed or something like that. So I'm not sure. Did they give him the win after that? I don't know. I feel like looking that up. I think they ended up giving him the win anyway. Or should he have 10 wins by now? Or they decided not to give it to him? Anybody drop the comments and let me know. I forgot exactly how that went. Okay, but Keyshawn Davis, one of my favorite fighters, one of my favorite up-and-coming fighters, man. And this fight with Pedraza is a step-up fight. A lot of people don't believe that, but it is. It's a step-up fight. Pedraza is a vet, man. Good resume. So this is a step-up fight. Anytime these dudes that have under 10 fights, anytime these dudes get there with some dude with 30-something wins and all, that's a vet, bro. That's a step-up fight. Especially if it's a fighter with that many wins and that experience and he's fought some good fighters, that's a step-up fight, man. Step-up fight. So let's talk about the last 3 performances of these 2 fighters, man. So last 3 fights with Keyshawn Davis was Naheed Albright, Francesco Patera, and Anthony Yiggett. Okay. And he got a knockout out of those 3 fights. Was Anthony Yiggett. He knocked him out in the 9th round. So far as the let's start with Nair. The latest fight from Keyshawn Davis was Nair Albright, which a pretty good scrap. Dude showed gave Keyshawn some problems early on, slight problems. Keyshawn figured him out. Ultimately, they started beating him up. Dude, I forgot what round it was. Dude did clip Keyshawn with something big, kind of buzzed him a little bit. But ultimately, Keyshawn won the fight. But I believe the win got rolled back, I believe, because Keyshawn had tested positive for marijuana. But as far as his performance in that fight, it was pretty good. You know, he got clipped, showed a little bit of adversity, but ultimately came out with the win. Technically, to me, he still won the fight. The fight with Francesco Pedraza was more, to me, he showed more of a patience. He was a little bit more patient in that fight, a little bit more technical. Clipped him with a beautiful right, like a counter right hand that knocked him down in the 8th round. Beautiful right hand. Dominated Pedraza in that fight. And then Anthony Yiggett, that was back in 2023. Yiggett is the same dude that got beat up by Rolly Marrero a couple of years back. Keyshawn was like more of a dog in that fight, kind of like dogged it out with Yiggett. He probably could have got him out of there sooner, but it looked like Keyshawn was trying to get rounded in that fight. Yiggett is still tough in his old fashion, but I still think Keyshawn could have got him out of there sooner. But he slugged it out with Yiggett and caught him with this nice body shot. I think it was at the 8th round before they stopped it in the 9th. Beautiful body shot. Put him down to the canvas. So in all three of these fights, he performed pretty good. But if I had to put him in order as far as his performances, he did the best. He looked the best and most sharpest against Francesco Pedraza. And then second, down here, Albright. And then Anthony Yiggett, he's a little bit sloppier. More of a dog in that fight, so to speak. The Nair Albright fight, he showed like a little bit more patience, but he was still dogging it out. So he kind of blended the styles together in a way. Keyshawn Davis' style as a whole, he has parts of Terrence Crawford in him a lot, especially the way he throws his punches. He gives me like Terrence Crawford vibes. A lot of people say Shakur Stevenson reminds them of Terrence Crawford sometimes, but it's just something about Keyshawn Davis that brings, to me, he just reminds me of Bud a little bit more. Something about him, the way he his fighting stance, the way he fights, more like Bud like to me. Jose Pedraza against Arnold Barboza. Jose Pedraza put up a good fight. Ultimately, though, he got slightly outclassed by Barboza, and he lost that fight by unanimous decision. And then he fought Richard Coleman before that, and that was a back and forth banger, very good fight. He even managed to look like he hurt Coleman a few times in that fight. Y'all know Pedraza's not really known as a big puncher, but he was there all night. Like I said, Pedraza's more of a come forward boxer, bro. Like he's a mid-range come forward boxer. It's like he don't really have power, but lots of times when you see boxers without power, they like to move around a lot. He moves around, but he moves around to just figure out where he want to be at when he gonna hit you. He don't move around to really evade a lot of your punches. You know, he comes forward, and he has very good upper body movement, even at this age. And then that fight ended up being a draw between him and Richard Coleman. And then he fought Jose Ramirez before that. Same deal, almost to say like the Barboza fight. You know, like a lot of back and forth between the two dudes, but Ramirez pulled it off at the end ultimately. Yeah, Jose showed, both of them showed heart like they always do, but Pedraza was catching Jose with Ramirez with a lot of counter shots. Very good. I love Pedraza, man. You know, when he retires, he's gonna go down to one of my favorite fighters because he's always game. He don't duck. You know, he has a great chin, very durable. I mean, he only got knocked out one time. I mean, that was against Tank. He probably was drained in that fight, bro. At 130 pounds, he was drained. So, but out of those three performances, if I had to put him in order, his best performance out of these three was the Richard Kobe fight, and then second best, I say, he fought Ramirez. He fought Arnold Barboza to me a little bit better than he fought Ramirez. So I will give the Ramirez fight with his worst performance out of the three. Also, something to keep in mind about Jose Pedraza, he hasn't had a real win since what, 2000 and was it the last time he had a win? I think it was back in 2021. That was his last win. All right, and all the three fights since before the Keyshawn, his three fights, his last recent three fights, 2 losses and 1 draw. All right, so he hasn't had a real solid win in 3 years. So that should tell you something too. But he's been in the ring 1 time last year, 2 times in 2022. Not really active, but he's been in the ring. Keyshawn Davis, he has been in the ring in 2023 3 times. He's been in the ring 3 times last year. All of his recent fights, all his last 3 fights were all last year. So that's good. He's been more active than Pedraza. So how does this go? How does it look, man? I mean, you gonna get the typical Pedraza. He's gonna move around to figure out his angles. He's gonna keep it mid-range. At times, he can also bring it inside with you if he want to, and he can pressure you. So I'm assuming with this fight, he's gonna do all of that with Keyshawn Davis, bro. This is definitely a step up. At the same time, Pedraza has slowed down a little bit. This is back down to 135, bro. So, been fighting at 140 for like all these other fights he's had. And then just to get moved back down to 135, that might be a little bit draining on Pedraza. But I see him having early success. Maybe the head movement is going to cause some issues maybe for Keyshawn Davis. The movement might cause a little bit of issues with Keyshawn cutting the ring off against Pedraza, but I think he'll adjust to it. Maybe like the 3rd, 4th round, he'll pretty much figure out Pedraza. But Pedraza is tough, bro. He's tough. He's gonna move around and have good head movement. Keyshawn, I think he might have his work cut out for him until maybe 7th round. Pedraza will probably start, fading from probably some body work from Keyshawn, because Pedraza got a pretty good tank. And, you consider he hasn't really been that active. And then you consider him moving down in weight. I say that's a recipe to me for a knockout, man. And Pedraza hasn't been knocked out. And here's the weird thing about it. He's been knocked out by Gervonta Davis. And here he goes again fighting another person named Davis. It might be another one of those things, another Davis knockout again, So I'm going with a knockout, man. If Keyshawn ain't on his game, Pedraza probably make it to the cards. But I don't think so. I think this fight, him being drained down, I don't really like that. So I think that's gonna be one of the factors to where Pedraza might not look like the Pedraza that we used to see. So I got Keyshawn stopping Jose Pedraza, 9th round stoppage by Keyshawn Davis. I just think Keyshawn probably too strong, especially at this weight, against Pedraza, stretching his, squeezing himself back down in weight. That might cause a big problem. So I see Keyshawn dominating the last end of the fight, probably from the 4th to the 9th. I got Keyshawn dominating to a stoppage. Probably be a body shot. That's going to put down Jose Pedraza in this fight. So Keyshawn Davis, 9th round knockout. Let me know what y'all think. This is your boy Rebel Life Boxing. I'll catch y'all later on the next one. And I'm off this.